Hello, esteemed gentlemen. If you can't buy it twice, you can't afford it once. That timeless rule by Jay-Z isn't just about money. It's about discipline, restraint, and the ability to see through illusions. And no one lives by that code more ruthlessly than a Sigma male. Here's a curious fact. Studies show that over 60% of what people purchase has nothing to do with need. It's about status, insecurity, or keeping up appearances. But Sigma males? They see through that circus like it's a cheap magic trick at a children's party. While the world is busy swiping cards to prove something, Sigma males quietly walk past the checkout line, not because they're stingy, but because they refuse to buy lies, whether they're wrapped in luxury, validation, or the latest trend. So today, we're peeling back the curtain on 12 things Sigma males never spend a dime on. Not out of arrogance, but because their freedom is too expensive to sell. Some of these might sting, some might make you laugh, and some might even make you look at your own shopping cart a little differently. Number 1. The ego costume. The ego costume is one of the most expensive things a man can ever buy, not because of its price tag, but because of the emptiness it hides. Sigma males refuse to spend on it, and that decision separates them from almost everyone else. The ego costume comes in many forms. A car that screams louder than its engine, a watch that costs more than a house deposit, a designer jacket worn not for warmth but for validation. It's not about the item itself, it's about the reason behind buying it. Most men buy these things not because they want them, but because they want others to believe something about them. It's a disguise, a performance, a rented sense of power. Sigma males want nothing to do with that transaction. They know that when you buy something only to fill a void inside, the void doesn't shrink. It grows. You don't walk away more respected. You walk away more dependent. You're now hooked on the applause you paid for, and you'll have to keep buying the next costume, the next mask, the next illusion. It becomes a treadmill of fake worth, and Sigma males have no patience for that game. Their value doesn't come from labels stitched onto fabric or keys sitting on a valet counter. It comes from who they are when no one's looking. There's also a brutal honesty in how Sigma males see those who wear the ego costume. They recognize it immediately. The guy who insists on flashing his status symbols, the one who needs every conversation to orbit around his possessions. To a Sigma, that's not impressive. It's transparent. It looks like desperation dressed as dominance. And while most people will politely admire it, Sigma males quietly see the insecurity behind the shine. They refuse to buy the lie for themselves, and they certainly won't buy into it when others parade it around. What makes this rejection so powerful is that Sigma males aren't anti-material. They just don't let material things define them. They'll buy quality, but never vanity. They'll invest in something that serves them, but never in something that pretends for them. The ego costume is expensive in every way, financially, emotionally, and psychologically. Sigma males save their energy by never putting it on. Their silence, their discipline, and their results are all the costume they'll ever need. Number 2, the overpriced image of masculinity. Masculinity has become one of the most marketed products on the planet. Everywhere you look, there's an ad whispering, or rather shouting, that to be a man you need to drape yourself in symbols. The designer watch that supposedly proves you've arrived, the luxury car that tells the world you're powerful, the expensive bottle of whiskey that's more about the price tag than the taste. It's an entire economy built on selling men the idea that strength has to be worn, driven, or poured into a glass. Sigma males are immune to that sales pitch. For them, masculinity isn't something you purchase, it's something you embody. They know a watch doesn't make you punctual. A car doesn't make you unstoppable, and a whiskey bottle doesn't make you sophisticated. Those are props, shiny distractions designed to cover up insecurity. Sigma males see right through it, and that's why they never buy the overpriced image of masculinity. They'd rather let their calm, their decisions, and their presence do the talking. A man who needs props to look powerful isn't powerful. He's auditioning for approval. What makes this rejection so compelling is that Sigma males aren't against good things. They might enjoy a solid car, a decent drink, or a well-made piece of clothing, but they'll never buy those things for the sake of showing off. The difference lies in intention. If it serves their life, they'll use it. If it's just to impress strangers who don't actually matter, they're not interested. They don't rent masculinity through material props because their identity isn't up for sale. This terrifies people who depend on image to feel like men. They've invested so much in the costume of masculinity that standing next to someone who doesn't play the game makes them feel exposed. The Sigma male doesn't need to announce his strength, and that quiet confidence is louder than any engine or brand label could ever be. The overpriced image of masculinity is nothing more than a costume store for insecure men, and Sigma males walk right past it every time. Their masculinity doesn't need packaging because it's not for display, it's lived. Number 3, the shortcut to status package. The world is flooded with shortcut offers, slickly packaged courses, overpriced seminars, and hollow mentorship programs promising to unlock instant success. They're sold as golden tickets to the top, marketed to those who want the results without the scars that earn them. This is what I call the shortcut to status package. You pay to look successful before you actually are. It's a shiny rental costume that fools outsiders for a moment but never builds the real foundation of achievement. Sigma males never fall for it. They understand that status you don't earn is status you can't keep. Buying into quick fixes is like borrowing confidence with interest, and the interest always comes due. Sigma males prefer to build silently, stacking real wins behind closed doors until their results speak for themselves. They don't need someone's overpriced roadmap to tell them how to live. They trust their own compass, even if the road is slower and lonelier. What really makes them immune to this trap is their intolerance for fake validation. These programs often come with badges, certificates, or access to clicks designed to make you feel important. But Sigma males don't need applause from a room of strangers wearing the same badge. They'd rather stand alone with no recognition than stand in a crowd pretending to be something they're not. Their grind is private, their victories are earned, and their reputation isn't a subscription you can buy. And while many men chase these packaged shortcuts, hoping for the illusion of being ahead, Sigma males play the long game. They don't just want to climb the ladder, they want to build the ladder themselves. Every scar, every failure, every lesson adds weight to their authority. By the time the man who bought shortcuts is exposed, the Sigma has already built something solid, unshakable, and real. That's why they never buy the shortcut to status. Because anything you can buy today can be taken from you tomorrow. But what you build with your own 2 hands is yours forever. Number 4, friendships that come with a price tag. Some friendships come with hidden invoices. They're the kind where loyalty isn't real unless it's constantly fed with dinners, gifts, favors, or endless emotional reassurance. On the surface, it looks like companionship, but underneath it's a transaction. A maintenance plan disguised as connection. Sigma males have no patience for this kind of arrangement. They don't buy into relationships that feel more like subscriptions, where every interaction demands proof of investment. If your loyalty has to be purchased, it isn't loyalty at all. It's rented attention. Sigma males would rather walk alone than sit at a crowded table where the bonds are glued together with obligation. To them, friendship should flow naturally, not come with constant invoices. They see through the subtle manipulations. The friend who only calls when they need a favor, the one who measures closeness by how much you've spent, or the one who equates generosity with dependency. Where others may tolerate it just to keep the peace, Sigma males quietly cut the cord. They don't waste time negotiating with people who treat affection like a business deal. What makes this stand out is that Sigma males aren't stingy or cold. They'll give, but they'll give freely. Not because they're being tested, but because they genuinely want to. They can take you out to dinner, help you in tough times, or show up when you need them. But the second it becomes expected rather than appreciated, the dynamic changes. Sigma males despise the feeling of being emotionally blackmailed into proving their worth. They'd rather cancel the friendship subscription than keep paying invisible fees for conditional loyalty. This approach unsettles people who are used to transactional relationships, because Sigma males don't play along. They don't chase validation. And they don't fear losing connections built on shallow foundations. If the bond can't survive without constant deposits of money, time, or ego feeding, it's not a bond worth having. Sigma males understand something simple yet brutal. Real friendship isn't bought, it's built. And if someone tries to sell it to them, they walk away without hesitation, because they know solitude with self-respect is far richer than company that drains you. Number 5. The illusion of busyness. Busyness has become one of the most expensive illusions of modern life. People wear it like a badge of honor, armed with planners filled to the brim, calendars stacked with pointless meetings, and productivity gadgets that promise to squeeze an extra hour out of the day. The truth is, much of it is smoke and mirrors. Being busy doesn't mean being effective, but society has sold busyness as if it's the same thing as progress. Sigma males don't buy into that scam. They see through the noise. A man who constantly announces how busy he is usually isn't moving forward. He's just running in circles, addicted to the performance of productivity. Sigma males reject that treadmill. They don't clutter their lives with tasks that look impressive but accomplish nothing. They focus only on actions that push them closer to real results. Every choice they make has a weight, a direction, and a purpose. If it doesn't move the needle, it doesn't get their energy. This is why Sigma males often seem like they're doing less on the surface, but in reality, they're achieving far more. They'd rather spend 2 focused hours on something meaningful than 10 hours micromanaging busy work. While others chase the dopamine hit of checking off boxes on a to-do list, Sigma males care only about whether the work actually matters. They don't buy planners to feel important or apps to feel in control. They create impact by cutting through the fluff. It unsettles people around them because the illusion of busyness is comforting. It makes people feel safe, as though filling the day with noise is proof they're accomplishing something. Sigma males refuse to be seduced by that comfort. They embrace silence, simplicity, and space because they know that clarity produces results, not chaos. And when their quiet efficiency produces more than someone else's frantic schedule, it exposes the truth. Most people aren't busy because they're productive. They're busy because they're afraid of sitting still. Sigma males don't buy the illusion because they've mastered the art of making every move count. Number 6. Trendy intelligence. Intelligence has turned into a trend. A product you can package, market, and sell like the latest sneaker drop. There's always a viral book promising to hack your brain, a course filled with buzzwords that sound profound but mean nothing, or some new intellectual fad that everyone suddenly pretends to understand. It's less about learning and more about signaling, looking smart instead of actually being sharp. Sigma males don't buy into that circus. They refuse to confuse noise with knowledge. What makes them different is that they're allergic to intellectual bandwagons. Just because something is popular doesn't make it valuable. Sigma males know that the crowd often celebrates the shallow. Catchy quotes that sound deep on Instagram, bestsellers that recycle old wisdom in flashy packaging, or gurus who sell confidence dressed up as strategy. While others scramble to be seen reading the smart book of the moment or quoting the latest TED Talk, Sigma males quietly filter it all. If it doesn't sharpen their mind, it doesn't deserve their attention. They're not anti-learning. In fact, they're obsessive learners, but their learning is independent, raw, and applied. They'll dive into obscure subjects, study things no one else cares about, or learn skills outside of mainstream hype because they're not trying to impress anyone. They don't want to sound smart. They want to be smart, in a way that stands on its own even when trends move on. That's why their intelligence feels different. It's unshakable, because it isn't rented from a bestseller list or borrowed from a thought leader. This rejection of trendy intelligence unsettles people who build their identity on looking clever. Standing next to a Sigma makes their book quotes and buzzwords sound hollow, because the Sigma doesn't need them. He listens more than he speaks, questions more than he accepts, and tests ideas instead of parroting them. His intelligence isn't loud, and that silence is intimidating. The world loves to sell easy knowledge, but Sigma males never buy it, because real intelligence isn't a trend, it's a weapon, and they refuse to dull it with fluff. Number 7. The comfort cage. Comfort is one of the most seductive traps in the world. It doesn't announce itself like danger does. It lulls you in slowly, disguising itself as success. A big house with a mortgage that will own you for decades. A bloated lifestyle that demands you keep working at a job you secretly hate. Or the golden handcuffs of a high salary that robs you of the courage to walk away. Many men buy into this illusion, believing they're building stability when in reality they're building a cage. Sigma males see the bars long before they close, and that's why they never buy into it. To them, luxury isn't the problem. Dependency is. A car, a house, or a comfortable lifestyle can be great if it's chosen freely. But when those things come at the cost of freedom, when they chain your decisions and lock you into obligations, the price is far too high. Sigma males value the ability to walk away more than they value any symbol of comfort. If something owns them instead of the other way around, it's not a blessing, it's bondage. This mindset unsettles people who equate comfort with success. They can't understand why a Sigma male might reject the traditional markers of achievement, or why he doesn't feel pressured to stretch himself thin just to keep up appearances. But Sigma males don't need the world's approval, and that's what makes them dangerous to conformity. They'd rather live in a smaller house they own outright than in a mansion that secretly owns them. They'd rather keep their lifestyle lean and flexible than inflate it to impress people who don't matter. What makes this powerful is the quiet discipline behind it. Sigma males can afford comfort, but they don't worship it. They know how easy it is to mistake a gilded cage for success, and how quickly a life of freedom can be traded for a paycheck that feels safe but suffocating. That's why they never buy the comfort cage. They protect their ability to move, adapt, and choose, even if it means living with less. To a Sigma male, freedom isn't just worth more than luxury. It's the only real luxury that matters. Number 8. Prepackaged identities. Society loves to sell men ready-made boxes to live in. There's always some label waiting: alpha male, gentleman, CEO mindset, or whatever new buzzword the self-help industry is pushing this year. These identities come prepackaged with rules, appearances, and behaviors. Follow the script, and you'll be accepted, admired, and maybe even envied. But Sigma males reject all of it. They never buy into pre-written manuals on who they're supposed to be, because they know the moment you wear a label, you also inherit its leash. For them, identity isn't something handed down by society. It's something forged through solitude, struggle, and self-awareness. Every label comes with hidden expectations. Alphas must always dominate, gentlemen must always appease. Mindset junkies must always pretend to be grinding 24/7. To Sigma males, those rules feel like chains. They know real strength isn't in fitting a mold, but in breaking one. Why copy someone else's script when you can write your own? This refusal to conform makes Sigma males unpredictable, and unpredictability makes people uncomfortable. Labels make it easier to categorize and control people. If you're an alpha, we know what you'll do. If you're a gentleman, we know how you'll act. But a Sigma doesn't give you that convenience. He won't play by the clichés, won't follow the crowd's definitions, and won't let himself be reduced to a stereotype. That's why society struggles to describe him. There's no neat category for someone who burns the manual instead of reading it. The irony is that while others chase these pre-packaged identities to look stronger, Sigma males become stronger precisely because they reject them. They don't outsource their personality to an industry selling masculinity in bite-sized slogans. They learn through experience, not labels, through authenticity, not performance. Their power comes from being unbranded, untamed, and unboxed. And that's exactly why they stand out, not as alphas, not as betas, not as any convenient label, but as men who decided long ago that freedom is worth more than a title. Number 9. The fantasy of overnight success. The promise of overnight success is one of the oldest scams in history, yet people keep falling for it. Slick marketers package it in shiny forms: get-rich-quick schemes, instant authority courses, or blueprints that claim you'll build an empire in 30 days if you just pay the fee. It's the kind of fantasy that preys on impatience and insecurity. But Sigma males don't buy into it. They know real success has a price, and that price is paid in years of discipline, scars, and sleepless nights, not in slogans or shortcuts. Sigma males are allergic to anything that sounds too easy. If someone says you can skip the grind, they immediately know it's a lie. They've seen enough to understand that shortcuts always have hidden costs, and often those costs are heavier than the work itself. For them, the journey is as important as the destination, because the lessons learned along the way become the foundation that keeps success from crumbling. Overnight results don't give you resilience, and without resilience, you'll lose what you gained the moment life pushes back. What makes Sigma males so unshakable is that they welcome the scars most people try to avoid. Where others look for hacks to dodge the struggle, Sigma males go through it willingly because they know mastery can't be faked. Every failure, every rejection, every setback sharpens them. By the time the man chasing instant success burns out or gets exposed, the Sigma has already built something too solid to be shaken. That's why their victories may arrive later, but when they do, they're permanent. And while society claps for the guy who made it overnight, Sigma males don't envy him. They watch in silence, knowing most of it will collapse as quickly as it rose. They don't need the applause that comes from fast wins, because their eyes are on something bigger, building a legacy that can't be undone. That's why they never buy the fantasy of overnight success. They don't trade time for illusions. They invest time in mastery, and mastery is the one thing no scam can ever sell. Number 10. Cheap validation, dressed as luxury. Luxury has a strange way of disguising itself as validation. A man buys the latest limited edition sneakers not because they're comfortable, but because he wants heads to turn. Another splurges on a gadget that screams exclusive, though he barely knows how to use it. Someone else shells out for a brand name item that's 3 times the price of an equally good alternative, just for the logo. That's not luxury. That's cheap validation wearing a fancy suit. Sigma males never buy into that illusion. For them, value comes from use, not from applause. If something genuinely improves their life, they'll buy it without hesitation. But if the price tag exists only to announce status, they walk away. Sigma males understand that when you buy something just to be seen, you're not owning it. It owns you. You become chained to the opinions of strangers who don't matter, and your sense of worth is tied to whether or not they notice. That's slavery disguised as sophistication. The irony is that Sigma males can afford many of the things others flaunt, but they don't see the point. Why spend thousands on a logo when silence and substance are far more powerful? They don't buy cars to prove masculinity, clothes to prove class, or gadgets to prove relevance. If it doesn't serve their mission, it doesn't deserve their wallet. That's why they often appear understated, yet unshakably confident. Their presence is the statement, not the items they carry. This rejection unnerves people who measure identity through possessions. Standing next to a Sigma, the man flaunting his brand-name armor starts to look desperate. The Sigma's quiet indifference exposes how fragile that kind of validation really is. And that's the essence of it. Cheap validation always needs an audience, but Sigma males don't perform. Their worth is internal, and no price tag, no label, no shiny gadget can buy what they already own. Number 11. The myth of retail therapy. Retail therapy is one of the biggest myths society has sold. The idea that you can swipe a card and magically heal what's broken inside. People convince themselves that a new outfit, the latest phone, or another pair of shoes will ease the weight they're carrying. For a few hours it works. There's a rush, a hit of dopamine, the illusion of control. But then reality creeps back in, and the chaos remains, only now with an added bill. Sigma males don't buy into that cycle. They know happiness isn't on sale, and you can't shop your way out of emptiness. What sets them apart is their refusal to medicate their emotions with purchases. When life feels heavy, they don't run to a store. They sit with the discomfort, dissect it, and face the truth head-on. To them, buying things as a distraction is nothing more than numbing yourself with glossy packaging. It doesn't solve the problem. It just buries it under receipts. Sigma males fix their chaos at the root, even if it's painful, because they know lasting peace can't be bought in installments. This makes them harder to manipulate in a world built on consumer emotions. Advertisers thrive on convincing people that products equal happiness, that buying this car will make you confident, that fragrance will make you desirable, that gadget will make you relevant. Sigma males aren't fooled. They know joy is an internal construction, not an external purchase. They'd rather invest in growth, knowledge, or experiences that expand them than in objects meant to mask a wound. Their rejection of retail therapy unsettles people who rely on shopping to escape. While others brag about their latest purchases, Sigma males don't feel the urge to compete. They aren't chasing comfort in shopping bags because their comfort comes from self-control and clarity. And that's the real difference. Most people use retail therapy to silence their chaos, but Sigma males eliminate the chaos itself. Happiness isn't found at a checkout counter, and that's a truth they live by every day. Number 12, the new toy syndrome. The world is addicted to upgrades. A new phone drops, and suddenly the old one, which worked perfectly yesterday, feels outdated. A new gadget is released, and people line up as if their lives depend on it. This is the new toy syndrome. The endless cycle of buying just to feel current, even when nothing was missing in the first place. Sigma males are immune to this itch. They don't buy into the hype of constant upgrades because they value mastery of tools over the thrill of collecting them. For them, a tool is only as valuable as the way it serves their mission. If a laptop from 5 years ago still performs, it stays. If a phone does its job, there's no reason to replace it for slightly shinier edges or a new camera filter. Sigma males aren't impressed by novelty for novelty's sake. They understand that every purchase has an invisible cost, not just money, but time, focus, and mental energy. Chasing every new toy is just another way to stay distracted. This frustrates people who define their worth through their possessions. They can't understand why a Sigma male isn't eager to flaunt the latest gadget or brag about owning the trendiest device. What they don't realize is that restraint is its own flex. While others are in a constant loop of spending, updating, and discarding, Sigma males are busy mastering the tools they already have, squeezing out every ounce of value and using them to build something real. The deeper truth is that Sigma males don't confuse ownership with progress. A new gadget won't make you smarter, more disciplined, or more skilled. It just makes you temporarily excited. Progress comes from skill, focus, and persistence, none of which can be bought in a box. That's why Sigma males never fall for the new toy syndrome. They'd rather sharpen their edge on old tools than dull their purpose chasing new ones. If it still works, it stays, because they know real power doesn't come from the upgrade, but from the man using it. At the end of the day, what sets Sigma males apart isn't just what they buy, it's what they refuse to. In a world where people spend fortunes chasing illusions, Sigma males invest in something far rarer: clarity. They don't waste their energy on ego costumes, overpriced images of masculinity, or shortcuts dressed as success. They don't trade freedom for comfort or authenticity for applause. Every rejection is a declaration that their value cannot be packaged, sold, or rented. And that's the paradox that unsettles people. By refusing to buy into society's traps, Sigma males become the very thing those traps promise to create. While others chain themselves to brands, status symbols, and fleeting validation, Sigma males move freely, building strength that doesn't need labels and power that doesn't need decoration. They prove that freedom is the ultimate currency, and silence is the sharpest status symbol of all. So as you step back from this, ask yourself a harder question. How much of your life have you bought because it was marketed to you, and how much have you built because it was true to you? Sigma males remind us that sometimes the most powerful purchase you can make is no purchase at all. And if this spoke to you, don't just leave it here. Subscribe, share this with someone who needs to hear it, and drop your thoughts in the comments below. Let's keep building a space for raw truths, not rented illusions. Because in a world addicted to buying masks, choosing to stay real is the boldest move you'll ever make. If you made it this far, you already know this isn't your typical surface-level content. And if it hit you in some way, Don't just keep it to yourself. Make sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next deep dive. Hit that like button to push this message further. Drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to hear your take. And of course, share this video with someone who needs to hear these truths. Every click helps grow a community built on raw honesty, not recycled clichés. Stay tuned, because this is just the beginning.